In this video, we're going to look at saints celebrated on the 19th of every month. So, for January 19th, we have major saints commemorated are Saint Marius and his family, Martha, Audifax, and Abachum, and Saint Macarius the Great of Egypt. Other saints celebrated on this day include Saint Mark Eugenicus, Saint Euphrasia, Saint Arsenius, Archbishop of Corfu, and Saint Theodore the Fool for Christ. Major saints: Saint Marius and his family, a family of martyrs in the Roman Empire, consisting of Marius, his wife Martha, and their sons Ardifax and Abachum. They are remembered for their steadfastness and faith during a time of persecution. Saint Macarius, the Great of Egypt, influential desert father of the 4th century, was known for his asceticism and spiritual wisdom. He was a contemporary of Saint Anthony the Great and is associated with the Macarian homilies. Other saints: Saint Mark Eugenicus, an archbishop of Ephesus and a key defender of orthodoxy during the Council of Florence. Saint Euphrasia of Nicomedia, a virgin martyr who suffered persecution for her faith. Saint Arsenius, Archbishop of Corfu, a saintly archbishop who remembered for his role in the Church. Saint Theodore, the Fool for Christ of Novgorod, a righteous and holy man known for his unusual way of life to serve Christ. Saint Anthony the Stylite of Mark Copy, a righteous figure credited with founding Christian monasticism in Georgia. Commemoration of the opening of relics of Saint Sava of Svenigorod, also known as the opening of relics of Saint Sava of Storozev. This is a commemoration observed on this date. On February 19th, the primary saints commemorated are Saint Conrad of Piacenza, the 14th century Franciscan tertiary hermit, and Saint Barbatus, Bishop of Benevento, who helped convert the Lombards. Additionally, other saints from various traditions are honored on this date, including Apostles Archippus, Philemon, and Martyr Aphia. Saint Conrad of Piacenza, a 14th century hermit, known for his piety and miraculous cures. Saint Barbatus, a 7th century bishop of Benevento, who is credited with converting the Lombards. He is also a patron saint of several towns in Italy. Apostles Archippus and Philemon and Martyr Aphia, companions of the Apostle Paul. Martyrs Maximus, Theodotus, Hesychius, and Asclepiodota, martyrs of Adrianopolis, who suffered during the persecution under Emperor Maximian. Venerable Dositheus of Palestine, a 6th-7th century disciple of Abba Dorotheus. Saint Rabulus of Samosata, a figure from 6th century Syria. Venerable Theodore of Sanaksar, a Russian prince who lived in the 18th century. March 19th is celebrated as the Solemnity of Saint Joseph, the spouse of the Blessed Virgin Mary and the legal father of Jesus Christ. It is the principal feast day for Saint Joseph in Western Christianity, and the day is also a public holiday in places like Poland and Canada. Who he was. Saint Joseph is known as a righteous, faithful, and humble man who was a carpenter. He is the patron saint of fathers, workers, carpenters, and the Universal Church. Notes Ascension Press and EWTN. His role in salvation: an angel appeared to Joseph in a dream to explain Mary's pregnancy, and he faithfully accepted his role as protector of the Holy Family, including the flight to Egypt to escape King Herod. Other traditions. Some traditions include the Joseph table, a feast where no one is turned away, and the use of fava beans in celebrations. In some Italian American communities, bakeries make special breads or pastries for the day. Other saints. The Orthodox Church in America also commemorates other saints on March 19th, such as the Holy Martyr Pancarius. On April 19th, the Catholic Church commemorates the feast day of Saint Expeditus, a Roman centurion martyred around 303. He is invoked for urgent causes and is also the patron saint of those who need things done quickly, also known as the Saint of Time. Other saints also recognized on April 19th include Saint Alphege, a martyr and Archbishop of Canterbury, and Pope Leo IX. Primary saint. Saint Expeditus, a Roman centurion who converted to Christianity and was martyred in Armenia. He is depicted with a cross and a crow, with the crow representing procrastination, tomorrow, and the cross representing urgency, today. Other saints commemorated: Saint Alphege, an Archbishop of Canterbury who was martyred; Pope Leo IX, a confessor and pope; Saint Gerald of Saxony, a saint whose details are scarce but is venerated on this day; Saint Anna, celebrated for her pious life and acts of charity. The main saints celebrated on May 19th include Saint Celestine V, Pope, and Saint Dunstan, Archbishop of Canterbury. Other saints commemorated on this date are Saint Ives, also known as the Advocate of the Poor, and Saint Crispin of Viterbo, Saint Pudentiana, Saint Pathanius, and Calogero. There are also several Orthodox saints with a feast day on May 19th, such as Saint John, Bishop of the Goths, and Saint Demetrius Donskoy. Saint Celestine V, Pope, a monk who became Pope. He is notable for being the first pontiff to resign. Saint Dunstan, a key figure in the 10th century, he was the Archbishop of Canterbury, rebuilt an abbey, and served as a close adviser to two kings. Saint Ives, known as the Advocate of the Poor, he is also a patron saint of Flores. Saint Crispin of Viterbo, a Capuchin friar; Saint Pudentiana, a virgin martyr and daughter of Senator Pudens. Saint John, Bishop of the Goths, lived in the 8th century and is also celebrated on June 26th. Saint Demetrius Donskoy, the great prince of Moscow. The main saint honored on June 19th is Saint Romuald, an Italian hermit and the founder of the Camaldolese Benedictines. Other saints celebrated on this day include Saint Juliana Falconieri, an abbess of the Servite Third Order, and Apostle Jude or Thaddeus, one of the 12 apostles, depending on the calendar tradition, Western or Eastern Orthodox. Western tradition. Saint Romuald, an optional memorial is held for him on June 19th. He is remembered for his monastic reforms and for founding the Camaldolese order of the monks, which combined elements of both the monastic and hermetical traditions. Saint Juliana Falconieri, the feast day is also on June 19th, and she is known for her devotion to the Eucharist. Eastern Orthodox tradition. Apostle Jude, celebrated on June 19th, he is one of the 12 apostles of Christ and was also known as Thaddeus. Saint Zosimus, another saint commemorated on this day. On July 19th, several saints are honored, including Saints Martha, Mary, and Lazarus in the Roman Catholic tradition, and saints such as Arsenius the Great, Symmachus, and Macrina the Younger in the Eastern Orthodox tradition. Roman Catholic Saints Martha, Mary, and Lazarus. These siblings are figures from the New Testament and are commemorated on this day. Eastern Orthodox Saint Arsenius the Great, a 4th century desert monk from Scetis. Saint Symmachus, a pope of Rome, who served the late 5th and early 6th centuries. Saint Macrina the Younger, a nun and influential figure in 4th century monasticism. Other saints, Venerable Seraphim of Sarov and Hieromartyr Charalampus, are also honored on this date, according to some Orthodox calendars. On August 19th, the main saints are Saint John Eudes, a 17th century French priest known for his devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Holy Heart of Mary, and Saint Ezekiel Moreno, a 20th century Spanish bishop. In some Eastern Orthodox traditions, the day includes commemorations of other saints such as the holy great martyr Andrew the Commander and the holy martyrs Timothy, Agapius, and Thecla. Saint John Eudes, a French priest who lived from 1601 to 1680 and was active in preaching missions, he founded the Eudists and promoted devotion to the Sacred Heart of Jesus and the Holy Heart of Mary. He is honored on August 19th in the Catholic Church. Saint Ezekiel Moreno, a Spanish bishop and member of the Augustinians, who is also celebrated on August 19th. Other saints, Eastern Orthodox traditions. Depending on the liturgical calendar, other saints may be honored on this day: the holy great martyr Andrew the Commander, the holy martyrs Timothy, Agapius, and Thecla of Palestine, the holy righteous father Theophanes the New, the holy righteous father Pitirim, bishop of Perm, the holy martyrs Eutychian the soldier and Strategius. On September 19th, the primary saints commemorated are Saint Januarius, a bishop and martyr from Naples, and Saint Theodore of Canterbury, a bishop. Saint Januarius is known for the miracle of his blood liquefying and is the patron saint of Naples, while Saint Theodore is considered the founder of the Church in England. Saint Januarius, who he was, a bishop of Benevento, was martyred around 305 AD. Significance: he is a patron saint of Naples and is invoked to protect the city from volcanic eruptions. Miracle: he is famous for the miracle of his blood liquefying, which is a venerated relic in Naples. Saint Theodore of Canterbury, who he was, an Archbishop of Canterbury who helped to organize the English Church. Significance: he is sometimes called the second founder of Canterbury for his work in establishing the church structure in England. Okay. Okay. October 19th, the Catholic Church commemorates the martyrs from North America, including St. John de Bruth and St. Isaac Jogues, and the new canonization of several saints, including St. Jose Gregorio Hernandez, St. Maria Trincati. Additionally, the Orthodox Church remembers Prophet Joel and Martyr Verus, among others. Catholic Church, Martyrs of North America. The memorial for 8 French missionaries martyred in the 17th century in what is now Canada and New York. This group includes St. John de Brebeuf, St. Isaac Jogues, St. Antoine Daniel, St. Charles Garnier, St. Gabriel Lalemant, St. John de Lalande, Saint Noel Chabanel, Saint Rangupil, new canonizations. Several new saints are scheduled to be canonized on October 19, 2025. Saint Jose Gregorio Hernandez, Venezuelan physician known as the Doctor of the People. Saint Maria Troncotti, an Italian missionary who served in the Amazon region of Ecuador. Saint Maria del Monte Carmelo Brandile Martinez, a Venezuelan religious sister who founded a congregation despite losing an arm. Other new saints: Saint Ignatius Maloyan, Saint Peter Tarot, Saint Vincenzo Maria Poloni, and Saint Bartolo Longo. Eastern Orthodox Church. Prophet Joel, a prophet from the Old Testament whose writings foretold the desolation of Jerusalem and the outpouring of the Holy Spirit. Martyr Varus, a military commander who helped and visited persecuted Christians in Egypt. Transfer of the relics of Saint John of Frila, the relics of the Bulgarian abbot, were moved in 1238. On November 19th, saints celebrated include Saint Matilda of Hofta, a German Benedictine nun and mystic. Other saints honored include the prophet Abdias, the holy martyr Barlaam of Antioch, and Saint Agnes of Assisi. Saint Matilda of Hofta, a German nun and mystic known for her visions, which were recorded in the Book of Special Grace. She was also a mentor to Saint Gertrude the Great, and is the patron saint against blindness. Prophet Abdias, a prophet from the 9th century BC, who is the fourth of the minor prophets. Holy martyr Barlaam of Antioch, a martyr who lived in Antioch. Saint Agnes of Assisi, a Franciscan saint known for her devout love and infusing the Franciscan spirit in others. Other saints. Various other saints are also commemorated on this day, including the holy martyr Aziz and his soldiers, the holy martyr Heliodorus, and the venerable Hilarion the Wonder Worker. On December 19th, saints celebrated include Pope Anastasius I, and numerous martyrs and saints from various traditions, such as Saint Boniface of Tarsus, Saint Aglae of Rome, Saint Nemesian, and Saint Gregentius of Himeracia. Roman Catholic Church. Pope Anastasius I, Pope from 399 to 401, he is celebrated for his fight against the writings of the theologian Origen. Boniface of Tarsus and Aglae of Rome, martyrs celebrated together. Nemesian of Alexandria, a martyr burned to death in Alexandria during the persecution of Emperor Decius. Eastern Orthodox and other traditions. Martyrs Elias, Probus, and Arius. Egyptian martyrs who were martyred in Cilicia. Martyrs Polyactus and Timothy, martyred in Cappadocia and Mauritania. Martyrs Eutychius and Thessaloniki, martyred with 200 men and 70 women. Saint Gregentius of Himeritia, missionary archbishop of the Himmerite kingdom. Saint Boniface the Merciful, bishop of Ferentino. Elias of Murom, a wonder worker from the Kiev cave, Lavra.